A very warm welcome, dear friends, to the Reinventing Retirement Lifestyle, a podcast dedicated to exploring the endless possibilities that comes with this exciting phase of life. Join us as we dive deep into the world of retirement, from financial planning and health and wellness to hobbies and giving back. Our goal is to inspire and empower you to create a fulfilling and meaningful retirement experience. My name is Maria Pontes, a retirement lifestyle coach and an author. Today, I have the privilege of introducing to you our speaker, Brenda Mendes, a seasoned corporate professional with 42 years of experience with FMCG giant Hindustan Lever. Post-retirement, she was brought back to lead Hindustan Lever Foundation for 6 years. Brenda has co-authored 3 Amazon bestsellers, Revive and Thrive, I'm Possible, and Soni Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao, all focused on her mission to achieving zero unemployment in India. Brenda is a certified master trainer, campus recruiter, and well-regarded one-on-one career coach. In 2022, Brenda was honored with the Power Woman Citation by Lead India USA, founded by Dr. Abdul Kalam for her contribution to employment generation in India. She has established herself as a thought leader in LinkedIn with 3 top voice badges for job search strategies, personal coaching, and career coaching. Brenda is a regular speaker at international events like Rise, Idobro Summit, and World Transformation Day. She is an invitee to World Economic Forum, Global HR Summit, and Wall Street Journal Jobs Summits. She's an ardent researcher in her niche area. Brenda is a member of Stanford Research Institute Alumni Club, a lifelong yoga practitioner, solo international traveler, and an avid reader. She lives life with zest. Join us as we delve into Brenda's insights on reinventing retirement and creating a fulfilling lifestyle. Welcome, Brenda, on our show today.
Thank you so much, Maria, for giving me this opportunity to speak to you, and greetings to whoever will be watching this in future.
Thank you, Brenda, for coming and inspiring our audience today. So I'm very excited to ask you this first question, and which is very, very difficult transition for most of us. And that is on transitioning from a career. What advice would you give someone who's looking into transition from a full-time career into retirement? And how can we navigate this major life change? What has been your experience?
Very good question, and not so easy to answer. But first of all, let me just give you a little history.
Sure.
Retirement is a very recent development. Actually, the word was first used in 1898 by the German Chancellor Bismarck, who brought this concept out. Because before this, we were just working till we died, because life expectancy was very low. So this is a new concept. We've had hardly the 100 years of experience in dealing with. So I'd like to say 4 points people need to keep in mind when making this transition. First of all, it is a big transition. It's a big change in life. So here, I think the mindset and attitude is very important, because all success critically lies on the foundation of what you think and what is your attitude to it.
Yeah.
Now, since this comes at a time when possibly children have moved out, you may have lost some loved ones, or careers need to change. This requires a complete reshift of your mindset. Thinking not that retirement is something you're retiring from, but something you're retiring to. Not the end of a journey, but a destination to which you are taking a new path. So I think this is the first point to keep in mind. Having a positive and a close, open-minded approach to retirement can help you navigate this change and focus more on what you're gaining rather than what you're losing. And what are you gaining? The great gift of time. And time is actually life. We often say time is money, but time is life. So that's what you're gaining. And second point would be planning. We all know that if planning is bringing the future into the present. Now, all of us have spent maybe 20 years planning our career, maybe 1 or 2 years planning our marriage.
Yeah.
But when it comes to planning your retirement, often we spend more time planning a vacation and a retirement. So I think retirement planning needs to start quite early in life, if not at least 5 years before. In HUL, I just want to give you an example. We had a practice of what is called a retirement preparation workshop.
Wow.
1 whole week, which you spent in an offsite location with your spouse, and all parts of retirement were covered, your financial planning, what corpus you would get, how you would need to invest, medical, how you would keep fit and agile, mentally active, as well as how to prepare your estate, how to make a will, and what all to keep your family informed about. So I would say that that is the second thing. The third thing I would say is start your routine now. You know your routine is going to change.
Yes.
Okay. So start it now. And what becomes more difficult in planning your retirement is two factors today, which are different from earlier. First is that we don't know when we are going to retire because
Yeah.
there are lifelong jobs are gone. So a sudden layoff can even bring an unplanned retirement. Also, you do not know how long your retirement is going to be.
Yes.
Earlier, we knew it was maybe 10 or 15 years. That space has now become maybe 25 or even 30 years.
Yes.
This makes it far more difficult. Third point I'd like to say is retire if you can in stages.
Yeah.
Don't just jump into retirement. Try and take a sabbatical or flexi hours or a longer vacation to see how you adjust to a slower pace of life. In my case, I took that sabbatical when my son was born, 3 years. So it was like planning for, getting back was like retiring for 3 years and getting back.
Yeah.
I think these are the four, advice I would give to people.
Thank
That is,
you. That was very beautiful because each person has a different way of transitioning, and you've done it so beautifully as you just spoke about it. My next is how can retirees find a sense of purpose and fulfillment in their post career lives? And what are some of the strategies for identifying and pursuing passions?
yeah, let me give it a thought. First of all, when we are in the daily grind of busy lives, we wish 9 to 5, or maybe we leave home at 7 to 7, and then we visualize our life as one, whole relaxation, vacation, and stress free.
Yes.
But actually, when retirement hits us, we find the reality is very different.
Yes.
We are left with a sense of loss, a sense of less meaning. We want to do something, but we do not know what. And that makes us feel a sense of not being important. But as Simon Sinek says, it is very important to find your why, your meaning in life. The famous book by Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, in that he says, happiness cannot be pursued. It needs to ensue. Just chasing happiness can actually thwart it. Yeah. But if you have a meaning and goal in life, happiness happens automatically. So you need to think, what is it you enjoyed in your working career? If you were the type who identified with your job, your uh, your achievements were very important to you,
Yeah.
you may consider going back to work. In fact, research shows that 60% of people who come back to work do this just because they want to. They may not even need to.
Yeah.
So that's one option. You can look at consultancy or flexi working or part
Yes.
time working. And that is what I had the chance to do when HUL called me back to set up a wholly owned subsidiary. And that was very different from the job
Wow.
I'd done before. And I did it for
Awesome.
6 years. It was like starting an entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, for
And
you
I think
to come back.
yeah, if you are the type for whom your interactions with people were what gave you joy, then you can think of increasing those interactions by keeping in touch with friends, building new connections, new hobbies, travel. In other words, whatever you enjoy, use your time doing that. And that will give you meaning once you've found out what is your purpose.
Yes.
Mine came through going back and realizing that there is a lot of unemployment in the country through my volunteering. And that's what gave meaning to my life to become a job search coach and executive career coach.
Superb. I mean, you really found your passion to what you wanted to do then. Great. So, my other point I would like to touch upon, and which a lot of people talk about more than anything else, is on financial planning. So, today, financial planning is a different ballgame altogether. What are the key financial consideration for a successful retirement from your experience, and how can retirees ensure they have a sustainable plan in place so that their finances are well taken care of?
Actually, this should have been possibly the first question. Of- because financial planning is, in fact, the foundation of your retirement
Absolutely.
joy and enjoyment.
Yes.
Let me tell you just on a lighter note, when I was asked at my retirement
Huh.
farewell, what will you miss the most?
Huh.
Most people thought I would say I would miss my colleagues, my work.
Huh.
Without batting an eyelid, I said I would miss the 21st of the month. Because that was the day when we got our paycheck for the month. We used to get it in advance. And really, that is the biggest loss. That is the one that you have to deal with.
Yes.
And
And it's a
that is
fact.
what requires planning much in advance.
Yes.
In fact, I would say, though it may be late for some people, your financial planning starts with your first paycheck.
Yes, actually.
That is when you start building on your savings, your investments, etc. But even if you've not done that,
Yeah.
and you are now whatever 60, since you're going to have a longer period of retirement, it's never too late to start.
Yes.
So first of all, assess your financial position. If you have retired, you would have got some corpus, you may have some investments, some FDs. See what uh, passive income you can get from that.
Yes.
Then you also make an estimate of what are your needs
Right.
and see what gap that there is between that and how you're going to fulfill it. And that is create a budget and stick to it. And a budget is what? It tells you where your money needs to go rather than sitting back and wondering where it's all gone.
Gone. True.
That's what I
Absolutely.
say it is the budget.
Very well said.
Create your budget. And when you're doing that, even in retirement, you need a salary. So pay yourself first.
First.
Out of all the money which you think is your passive income, keep aside a certain amount which will go into your corpus because you're going to have to deal with a long retirement life and rising inflation. So pay
Absolutely.
yourself first, diversify your portfolio, make sure you put it into whether it is debt or equity or gold or real estate. Here, the advantage of starting early is that you have that compounding factor, the eighth wonder of the world.
Yes.
And you can even start doing it now. Compounding is that factor, especially in things like in fixed income units. But don't use it all over. For instance, if you have mutual funds, compounding does not always work in mutual funds because they'll go up and down. So
Yes.
unless you're churning your portfolio, compounding it may work against you because when you actually need it, the NAV may be lower. The same way it is when the interest rates are high and inflation is high, that's when you want to lock into your FDs for a longer period of time. Gold, of course, fluctuates. And remember, as far as real estate goes, it is never an investment vehicle because the income will be limited. What you're doing in it's estate. So that is why you're creating your estate for the next generation. Remember that most people think it's investment. And invest like what they say, most people, try to time the market. Rather than it is not about timing the market, it's about the time you spend in the market. Okay. So invest like the 0.001%, who is Mr. Warren Buffett. And he has 4 rules. And the rule says first is never lose. Never lose. Second, take a small risk to get a big result.
Right.
Third, diversify. And fourth, you're never done. And here I want to say something on the take a small risk. Before I retired, maybe 5 years before, maybe 17 years ago now, my father decided to offer his 3-bedroom flat in a city like Bombay, in a premier area, to one of his children who would be willing to invest now and then maybe get the flat many years later when he passed away. And I took that risk, not even realizing that that house was not in a livable condition. And it took 15 years and my cancer for that to actually materialize. That came as a gift to me in cancer. But it was, of course, I spent a lot of money. I invested a lot of money, which my other siblings were not willing to do. But the return, you can imagine,
yes,
a 3 BHK flat in a premier location in Bandra. So these are the few things I would say.
Lovely examples. So I have another point to consider, which is again very, very important. If this is good for you, everything is taken care of. And this is about health and wellness. What role does health and wellness play in fulfilling retirement? And what are some practical tips you can share from your experience of maintaining physical and mental well-being?
Health is really the biggest wealth because without health, you have no hope. And if you have hope, then you have everything.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's the number one. And health and wellness are very related to each other. And they play a very important part in your retirement. Because you may have all the money in the world, but if you don't have health, then there's nothing you can do which you are planning to do. Here we have the classic case of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala.
Yes.
Right? He was called the Warren Buffett of the Indian market. Today, I think his net worth must be over 50,000 crores. Okay? But he died at the age of 62. It was only when he was 61 that he spoke about his health, about death. And at that time, he pledged to donate 5,000 crores between April and December 2025. And so beyond that, 2% of his income every year. Now, where are we today? We are in October 2024. So he had planned that.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that has actually been done. So even if you have an endowment and you want to be a philanthropist and give back, if you don't have health,
yes,
it didn't happen the way he wanted it to at least. So I think that is the sort of foundation that we have to build on our health. And in fact, Rakesh said something like this. He said, "Paisa hai, lekin chutta nahi hai." He said, "I have money, but I don't have the willingness and the power to give it away." And he prayed to God that he would have that power. But what happened? The time he had chosen, came after his death. So I think retirement is a very fertile ground for loneliness,
Yeah.
depression,
True.
anxiety. So these things can easily happen if you have not prepared and if you are not following a routine to take care of oneself. I think one first thing we all know is exercise. It improves our mental health, physical health, everything. And these are light impact exercises for retirees, like maybe walking, dancing, yoga,
Yeah.
being in nature, connecting with yourself, self care practices like meditation or going on a retreat. These
Yes.
are all things we do to keep ourselves mentally and physically agile. Mental agility also, we can easily do quizzes or various other board games, or nowadays there are so many other
Apps.
mind games which are available in apps which can keep us mentally agile.
Right.
Reading, writing, these are all journaling, these are also things that can keep us mentally agile.
Yes.
In fact, exercise, they say, is equal to taking an antidepressant for mild depression. So I think these are all things we got to do. But Rakesh realized it only quite late. It was in his last year that he took a vacation to Goa, Delhi, and Dubai, and there was nothing more he could do. You would think that you spending time with family also improves your
Yes.
mental health,
Mental health.
and then
Absolutely.
even that we may not have time. It is better to start all of these now. And the one thing I say, Maria, is whatever we are planning to do, whatever these little tips, it is better to start them before you retire. But even
Absolutely.
now, we don't even know when we retire, so that you can build on them. If you have certain hobbies,
Right.
you have certain passions, you're fond of gardening or public speaking or dancing, start those activities
Uh-huh.
before, because starting a new hobby afterwards is not very easy. It is easily
True.
said. Also, don't move your location or your accommodation unless you have to and you're moving to be closer to some family or some social connections, because this also helps your mental health. So these are some of the ways
Beautifully.
I think that we would.
Thanks for, yeah, lovely points you've
We
raised.
have a very good example in
Yeah.
our friend Merlin, who at
Huh.
the age of 88
Yeah.
does her daily crossword of the Times of India, and she won't go to sleep until she does that. I think
Okay.
one of the reasons she is so mentally agile and with
Yeah.
such a good memory.
Superb. But that's a good idea. It's a very nice thought that you've shared. Another thing that comes to me is, when we are working, we make a lot of friends in our professional life. And then once we are into retirement, the relationship and connections drop down quite a bit because our friends are away and we've retired. So, how can retirees maintain strong relationships and build new connections as they phase into this new life?
Yeah, I think this is something that a lot of research has been done to show that maintaining your connections, not just maintaining, but increasing them
Yeah.
during your retirement is what keeps you mentally and physically fit. Because basically, we are social animals.
Yes.
We are also people who have compassion, empathy. And the more we grow these muscles, it keeps
Yeah.
us mentally fit, bodily fit, as well as happy. The unfortunate thing is that most of our friends come from the jobs we work at.
Yes.
So I think it's very, very important to build friends outside of work, join communities outside of work. If you're a public speaker, you can join a public speaking group or a club or a sports club or some hobby club or a reading, a book reading club. Or if you're writing books, like you and I have written also collaborative books.
Yeah.
These things all help us in order to make connections with new people, join your industry association even before you retire,
Right.
keep in touch with your alumni association.
Yes.
This will even help you to get referrals, to get new, even to get a part-time job. These are various things that you can do to, realize that retirement is not the end of the road.
Yes.
And it's never too late to form meaningful relations with people. Sometimes we don't even know our neighbors. So we can get
Yeah.
to know our neighbors, the people in our community, in our society. We can get involved in the society committee. There's a whole lot of things we can do after that to keep up our socializing, which is so important.
True. Thank you for that. Such an important point that you've shared. So I have another thing about, we say, okay, now that we are retired, why do I need to learn this? But learning and growth, I realize, is so important. It continues to be so even in retirement life. What opportunities for learning and growth are available to retirees from your perspective? And how can we continue to challenge ourselves and stay engaged?
I think, some of this comes from what you've done before also. I think, especially, the baby boomers like us who were born from, 1950s to 64, we have seen so many changes. We've
Yes.
seen the internet, we've seen the computer, the internet, and now AI. So, to some extent, we are lifelong learners.
Yeah.
And I would say to the next generation as well, you need to be a lifelong learner. It is Jim Rohn who said that education can get you a living, but self education will get you a fortune. And you need to be self educated and continue with your education. And this you can do today so easily with all the resources that are available
Yes.
till you are actually gone, till your last dying day, you can be that. And you see the difference between, say, the previous generation and us. You and I are both, baby boomers, and we are reimagining our careers either in a different field or the same field because our interests have become broader and deeper. So, in fact, I got my sort of mission through my volunteering, and then I spent time. Sometimes we may have to even
Wow.
go back to study. Now, I had this. I realized that I had an ability to coach, to train, to mentor.
Mm.
But when I finally finished my second career and started my third career, which came through volunteering, I had to go back to college at 68 to do a master's in training
Awesome. My God.
to keep myself abreast.
Uh,
And that is not a one time thing. I actually study it. If I am to be, a best in class almost worldwide, I need to study every day. And I research every day, at least 4 hours. If I spend 4 hours coaching, I spend 4 hours in learning. And that's,
so
I say, from May 2019 till now, in my niche area, there's not one day, even cancer did not stop me from studying.
yes, I mean, you're so inspiring. When I learned about it, I thought, yeah, this is one person, Brenda, I would love to speak to and, hear your inspiring story despite your health conditions. So I'm a big fan of yours and truly inspired by
Oh,
you.
you're doing the same thing because what has changed is careers are no longer linear. Where you would just start in one job, get promoted. Today, even CEOs are leaving the job and joining as senior vice presidents or a vice president as marketing in some companies. So jobs are no longer linear. So the
Yeah.
opportunities are many. And you can keep reinventing your career so long as you keep learning and sharing. And also, I think social media has made it so much more
Yes.
easy
Yes.
because we can become influencers on social media. We can do part-time work. We can, like you are doing YouTubes. There's a lot of opportunity and a lot of opportunity, even free resources to learn.
Yes. So learning doesn't end in any way. It continues to be there as long as we live. So having heard you on your volunteering and giving back, I have a few questions from this point to take off. What are the benefits of giving back to community in retirement, and how can we find meaningful volunteering opportunities?
Yeah, I
Your
think that was
experience.
the first thing that even before HUL called me back in that gap of few months,
Huh.
I was dwelling on this.
Okay.
And what came to my mind was what I am today, is because so many people along the way have invested in me,
Yeah.
invested their time, their energy, sharing their skills, their knowledge, my peers, my bosses, other mentors and coaches, maybe not formally, but have, you know, helped me. So now is an opportunity to use some of that time to give back. And it has many advantages. First of all, volunteering is considered as a full time job. Even if you're looking for a job on your resume, it is a full time job. Then volunteering can get open up opportunities like it did to me. I was volunteering 1.5 year with Udan India, where I was asked to train and mentor fresh graduates to get them to the workplace.
Wow.
That's what got me into doing a master's in training and becoming a life coach. So that gave me my third career. Then because you're socializing with people, you get all those benefits. Your networks grow, your references grow,
Yes.
you feel that sense of purpose. Remember, we all of us are born with the gene of compassion.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we do not work on that gene. It's a muscle. If you don't exercise it, it will die. So, this is a time you may have done it all your life, but this is a time when you can intentionally exercise that muscle of compassion so that you can contribute to other people's lives and realize that by lifting others, you lift yourself.
Yes.
And volunteering is its own reward, that it doesn't require any reward. Even if you don't get paid for it, it's its own reward, and you know the satisfaction it brings. What brought me the greatest satisfaction in my life was the time when I mentored 40 girls, abandoned girl children who are now big and ready even to work. I did that for several weeks and months, and today I've come to know year before last, 8 of them graduated.
Wow.
One has become a air hostess, another one has become a lawyer. And these are people who, I don't mind saying it, were born abandoned and born to prostitutes. You can imagine the satisfaction that I feel
Yeah.
that those 24 lives were touched by me. It is a legacy I will never forget.
Beautiful. Now, having talked about legacy, how can we, as retirees, reflect on our lives and create lasting legacy? What role can, our purpose play in defining a fulfilling retirement so that people will remember us even if we are not around?
There are many ways we can leave a legacy, but let me mention three.
Sure.
First of all, like Mr. Junjunwala, if I have the wealth, I can make an actual endowment. But I would say do it now.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is. Secondly, all of us may not have wealth, right?
Yes.
We can share our life's lessons, the lessons of the 74 years of my life, the wisdom I have picked up, I can surely share by mentoring, coaching, even if not that, by simple, meaningful conversations with young people and sharing those insights. That will be the legacy which will give them the compass to navigate their future in life. And
Very
that has been for me a great sense of satisfaction. And the third way I think is your digital legacy. We don't think about this. Now, all of us are there on social media, be it on Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever. And if we are intentional about what we post and share our values of character, integrity, or whatever, now these digital assets will remain till this earth remains. So that is one way in which you're sort of spreading your legacy to a wide audience, because my children, my grandchildren, great grandchildren can listen to whatever I have spoken if they just go to listen.io and put my name. So I think these are the ways in which today every one of us can leave a legacy. Even if I've had cancer and I give, testimony on that, it's a legacy.
lovely points you've shared. So, the last thing I would like you to do is, what is your one thought you would like to leave our audience with from all your experiences so far?
I'd say each of us, our life is unique. So let's make this retirement a gala end show, a sort of a finale, grand finale, where you give back, you nurture, you inspire, you coach, and leave some imprints on the sands of time to show that you lived
Yeah.
and lived well. And
Yes.
last of all, I think I may add the quote by Lord Buddha, who said that health is the greatest gift, contentment is the greatest legacy, and faithfulness is the best relationship. If we
Beautiful.
keep these three things in mind, health, contentment, faithfulness, I think we, we have lived a good life and led a valuable legacy.
Legacy. Awesome. Thank you so much, Brenda, for such valuable inputs from your experiences. And audience, thank you for joining us on this Reinventing Retirement Lifestyle with Brenda. We hope this episode has provided you with valuable inspiration. Remember, retirement is a time for curiosity, exploration, growth, and fulfillment. So go out there, embrace the possibilities, and create a retirement that truly reflects your unique passions and desires. Until next time, happy reinventing. Thank you,
Thank you,
Brenda.
Maria.